Shalom. This is Brother Layaska come, Great Millstone, Cleveland. Before I begin, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are well and teach sound doctrine. Strong shalom to the hopeful elect. I want to go over this article and bring out some precepts. Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying. Read the title. It's from Newsweek. It says, top U.S. general warns everyone should be worried about war with China. This is Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And if we read up in verse 3, well, I'm not going to read it, but the latter end, it says, tell us when. Well, Salaki, I might as well read it. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, he being Yahushua, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? What things? And what shall be the sign of thy coming in the end of the world? That answers the question. The end of the world. They didn't understand that more prophecies had to be fulfilled. Verse 4, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. Verse 6 again, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. And right now, we see that happening today. You know, the BRICS nations against America and its allies. You know, these Edomites pretending to be different nationalities. Russians are Edomites, and the JOOs, they're Edomites. And we know what the scriptures say, those of us in the know, is Satan against Satan. That kingdom is divided and it will not stand. So we'll get into some key points in this article. General Charles Q. Brown Jr., the highest ranking officer in the U.S. military, warned in a Sunday interview that everyone should be worried about a war with China. And we know that this is a rumor because the country prophesied to go to war with America in World War III is Russia. Get a couple precepts. Jeremiah 50:9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. And that north is talking about Russia. Russia and their allies. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty axe for man. None shall return in vain. So this is a deep, dark saying talking about how Russia and their allies are going to shoot missiles on America. You can go more into depth about how these missiles are not going to miss. They're going to miss. They're going to have pinpoint accuracy. You can read more about that in Joel, the 2nd chapter, and 2nd Esdras. Talk about those arrows from the mighty archer. You know, these are plagues sent from the Lord, and the missiles are one of the plagues of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Revelation 13:2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Now, these different animals represent different rulerships. And that bear, that's who the Russians represent. That's the nation that is prophesied to go to war with America in these last days. Just like the leopard represents the Greeks. And that lion is Great Britain. But point being, in the latter days, this will be the nation set up to take down America. And China is an ally of Russia, part of the BRICS nations. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. We're going to go back to that in a second, Lord willing. Brown is the 21st and current chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, having taken over the role in October following the retirement of General Mark Milley, whatever the nigga name is. During an appearance on Fox News Sunday, Brown was asked by host Shannon Breen about growing concerns over war between the United States and China. Wars and rumors of wars, because in the midst of this, there's already a war, a proxy war going on between Ukraine and Russia. And that's still going on, just not nearly as televised as it was. It's a citing recent Reagan Institute polls finding that 51% of Americans view China as the biggest foreign threat to the country, seeing all their military advancements, their technological advancements, and their partnership with Russia and the other nations. It says, and 74% are concerned about such a conflict breaking out within 5 years. In response, Brown first stressed the strength of the U.S. military. Let's go to a precept. Isaiah 31:1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because there are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. So Egypt, right now in 2023, spiritually is America. Horses represent power and the chariots represent the military might. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. And this is pertaining to Israelites. You know, the other nations were meant to be godless. They were meant to be void of the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But you, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're going to be destroyed right along with them. Because the nations are all going to be slaves. They're going to be in captivity to us. Esau, Edom is going to receive the worst captivity and then be exterminated off the face of the earth. But you Israelites who trust in the heathens, particularly Esau, the ones who dwell in America, you're going to receive a similar judgment in the form of thermonuclear destruction. You know, the plagues of Jacob's trouble ramping up because you trust in your oppressors more than you trust in the Lord. "51% of Americans," that means literally more than half, believe that China is the biggest threat. But we know through prophecy that even America's allies are going to turn their back on America and shoot missiles. So it's all out doom, impending doom. unless you are of the elect. Continuing on, it says, in response, Brown first stressed the strength of the U.S. military, while also conceding, let's look up that word, admit that something is true or valid after first denying or resisting, surrender or yield. Admit, surrender. So in response, Brown first stressed the strength of the military. So yeah, the U.S. military, while also conceding that everyone should be concerned about such a conflict with China. War is inevitable, specifically with regard to a possible invasion of Taiwan. And why is Taiwan important in the grand scheme of things? Why is a Council on Foreign Relations? This is why China-Taiwan relations are so tense. Differences over Taiwan's status have fueled rising tensions between the island and the mainland. Taiwan has the potential to be a flashpoint in U.S.-China relations. Quick summary. I'm just going to read the bullet points. Taiwan has been governed independently of China since 1949, but Beijing views the island as part of its territory. Beijing has vowed to eventually unify Taiwan with the mainland using force if necessary. Tensions are rising. Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen, whose party platform favors independence, has rebuked Beijing's efforts to undermine democracy. Beijing has ramped up political and military pressure on Taipei. Some analysts fear the United States and China could go to war over Taiwan. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's trip to the island in 2022 heightened tensions between the countries. So once again, America is sticking its nose in something that it has really no business. That's pretty much it. Going back to this part, the first thing I tell them is that they ought to be very proud of their military. We're ready for whatever comes our way. Brown said, at the same time, we want to be ready. Salaki. At the same time, we want to be so ready that we don't have a conflict. And you know, as we're here, it says peace through strength. Our strength that we demonstrate as a military will bring that peace. And that made me think of the 40 years of Solomon's kingdom achieved through the bloodshed of his father David. So what is the particular truth to that statement? And it's truth to that concept overall, because the peace that's prophesied in Isaiah 9 is going to come through a lot of bloodshed. Our enemies are going to die. 2/3 of our own people are going to have to die in order for us to move on to the next phase. A true spiritual ethnic cleansing. And this is all going to be done spiritually, decently and in order. We're not going to be like zealots and take matters into our own hands. We're patiently waiting on the Lord. Jump down. He later added on the subject of a possible Taiwan invasion. The first thing I would say is we want to be, and we all should be, worried whether it's going to happen or not. And that is part of the reason why deterrence is so important, so that conflict does not occur. And point being, war is inevitable. And if you go to war with China, that means you're going to war with Russia. Ezekiel 38:7, it says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee. Right, we went into that Jeremiah 50:51. What was that, Jeremiah? It's the same company. Right here in NLT, it says keep all the armies. So we know that Russia's armies, China armies, Slovakia, all their allies are going to shoot missiles against America. It says, be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. And this is talking about Russia, leading the forefront. It's like a bully. America's that bully, and Russia's stepping in to help beat that nigga ass. Like, why you picking on my nigga China? He 100 pounds, can barely carry his damn book bag, and you fucking with him. And that's just an example. But point being, Russia is going to step in for those smaller, weaker countries. Going back to Ezekiel 38:2, it says, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And this is a prophecy going into Russia. Jump down. Taiwan has long been a contentious facet of relations between the U.S. and China. The latter's official policy is that Taiwan is a part of China as a whole, a claim that the Taiwanese government strongly dismisses. While the U.S. does not recognize Taiwan as its own country, the island territory is considered a key American ally in the Indo-Pacific region. President Joe Biden pledged in late 2022 that the U.S. Army would deploy troops to help Taiwan in the event of an invasion from China. We are not moving. We're not encouraging their being independent. That's their decision, Biden told 60 Minutes at the time, later stressing that the U.S. will provide military support if, in fact, there was an unprecedented attack. So, going back into it, wars, rumors of wars, nation against nation. All these things are leading up to Yahushua return, and you're hearing it first and foremost through the mouth of the prophets, through the spirit and power of Yahushua, starting with our elders and apostles. Let's look up the power index. This is from VOVworld.vn. It says the U.S., Russia, and China stand first among the top 10 militaries in the world according to Global Firepower's 2023 military power rankings. And I first got hip to the power rankings when the elders were going into the dragons of Arabia. This is how they quantify or add metrics to measure the different armies against each other. Real quick, the evaluation is based on a broad range of factors, including quantity and variety of weapons, natural resources, industrial capacity, workforce, financial stability, logistics, and geographical considerations. A total of 60 different indicators were used to calculate the score for the 2023 Global Firepower Index. 145 nations were evaluated. The United States led the ranking of countries with the highest military spending in 2022. And this is how you know another key indicator that Esau is dwelling here, because pursuant to Job 9:24 and the blessing that he got in Genesis, matter of fact, let's grab those two real quick. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the face of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the earth is definitely given into the hand of the wicked. As we can see, the strongest military Genesis 27:38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing? And this is after he got finessed. All according to the story of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. This is how it was supposed to be from the beginning. He's not missing out. It wasn't some odd turn of events. You was never, ever supposed to be the vessel to honor Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Genesis 27:38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept like a pussy. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. So the earth is in his hands. Right now, 2023, the year that all hopeful prophecies come to pass, we can see clearly the so-called white man is ruling. And it was prophesied that he would be the last nation to rule when Yahushua came back, because Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. And the beginning of it that followed is the kingdom of heaven. Genesis 27:39. Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Point being that the blessing that the Lord, if you can receive it, the same spirit that was in Isaac, that same spirit is Yahushua, a different vessel. And he gave Esau the blessing of the sword, the military might. That's why everywhere he goes, he's conquering, pillaging, rape, robbing, and murdering. Micah 2:1, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Esau, again, being the border of wickedness. This is his M.O. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. The earth given into the hand of the wicked. The wicked being the whooping stick of the Heavenly Father, pursuing the book of Psalms. Verse 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his heritage. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Habakkuk 2:5. Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine his philosophies. He is a proud man. And Esau is the proud. He is the standard for pride. Neither keepeth at home. He's got military bases everywhere. He's always in somebody else's affairs. He, being the government, the military, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So in the last days, who fits that? Who fits those precepts that I brought out? It's Esau. He's achieving these things through, witchcraft and through his military might. Him being a cunning hunter. That same spirit is here today in 2023, manifesting itself through Esau Edom, the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. So going back, the United States led the ranking of the countries with the highest military spending in 2022, with $877 billion dedicated to the military, U.S. dollars. To maintain its leading position, the U.S. must excel in key material, financial, and resource categories. Couple key points, a lot of aid went to these other countries for the sake of war, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money you spend. Take advantage while you can, Esau, because your days are numbered, thus saith the Lord. You're not going to win. It's going to feel like, you know, at a certain point that you're going to achieve your enterprise, like it says in the book of Job, but you're not going to win. It says the U.S. also leads globally in technological advancements, excelling in medical, aerospace, and computer telecom sectors. That's because this is a melting pot. All these different nations come here to get a better education and a better life. It says the U.S. owns 13,300 aircraft and its military currently numbers 1,832,000 personnel. Russia is second in military spending at 864 billion US dollars. Russia's military numbers 1,330,900 personnel. Russia has advanced technology, a well-trained military force, and strategic global influence. And in addition to the carnal things that we just read, the Spirit of the Lord is going to place hooks into his jaw, as a matter of fact. Ezekiel 38:4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army. Guess who's number 3 on that list? China. In cahoots. They are together. And I will turn thee back and I will put hooks into thy jaws. This means Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to put that Soviet spirit back on the Russians. And I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So the scriptures are coming to life. We're constantly praying, repenting, watching the news, filtering these things through the scriptures, awaiting the return of our Lord, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Continuing on, it says China stands third with military spending of 292 billion US dollars. China has 3,135,000 soldiers, 3,166 aircraft, and 4,950 tanks. The other countries on the top 10 list are India, the United Kingdom, South Korea, Pakistan, Japan, France, and Italy. And as you see, countries are not fucking around. This is globalfirepower.com, ranking the nations of the world based on current available firepower. That's saying power index, but this one shows an actual list. So, as they say, read it and weep. The U.S., Russia, China, India, United Kingdom, South Korea, Pakistan, Japan, France, Italy, Turkey, Brazil. It goes on and on. Point being, some of those nations that are on the list are part of BRICS. So what does that mean for America? You got to be realistic with ourselves. When it comes to prophecy, go to the men of Great Millstone. Let me say that humbly. The water, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Kahalayim La, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Rachakodash. Double honors to the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, as well as the bishops and you camp heads out there. Shalom to the hopeful elect as well. Lord willing, until next time. Shalom.